We're live. All right, it's 5:30. We're gonna wait for a few. Let's see. We can hear you. I like that. All right, people are joining. I'm gonna give everybody a few minutes. Let me hear where people are kind of calling in from. I want to know if people are staying away or if they're going away. Where are they? Let's see if we could get some shout outs here. Hey, Philly, I like that. All right. Wonder if any of my international patients are going to come by. Let's see if we get the chat going here. There we go. Hello. Look at that, everybody. Long Island, New Jersey, Ulsterville. Look at that. All right. You can see and hear me, most importantly. Riverdale, HM, in the house. There's my old stomping grounds. All right. Tibbet Avenue. Croatia. I like to see that. Anyway, first and foremost, before I get into this, I really have to thank my team of people that make me look better than I'm worth. TL Communications, thank you so much for getting out the invites, getting people to engage. It is Friday. I appreciate everyone joining. Hopefully it'll be the start of a good weekend. We got Germany in the house. Look at that. Yes, you are muted. And I could see you all in your underwear over there. So as long as you have a drink in your hand, that's okay. No, I can't really see you and I can't hear you. So I'm basically talking to myself here. What was I saying? I was saying, oh, thank you to TL Communications. I also want to thank Olivia Grossman, my social media, IT, computer, everything. I'm really good. Oh, she's in the background over there, everybody. She's supposed to be hiding. Anyway. I am really good at using lasers and needles. I am not great at this Zoom thing. And I'm going to tell you something that I've learned in this whole process. Look at this, Wilton, Connecticut. All right, Los Angeles, Australia. I love it. I'm going to give you a little secret. I've been complaining, like all of my patients, I've been complaining about this whole like Zoom camera thing, the little iPad or your Apple computer camera, how much it sucks. Anyway, I had this whole thing set up for me. Now I have this HD camera staring at me and I've decided I don't really want to be on HD because I'm kind of seeing everything. I'm not ready for my own personal hair and makeup. Actually, I am ready for my own personal hair and makeup, but this HD thing, I hope I look better to you than I look better to me. Don't answer that. We have London. We have Portugal. I look great. Thank you. Flattery will get you everywhere, especially when I have the needle in my hand. Okay, what else? Oh, I'm going to get to the drinks. Don't worry. Lemonade and vodka, whipped cream flavored. Look at that. Okay, it's about 3 minutes in here. I think we can get started. Anyway, I really want to thank everyone for joining. I'm still looking at all these things here. My God. I want to thank everyone for joining. It's something I do every year, my Hot Topics. It's usually for beauty insiders, editors, influencers, people in the device and pharma industry. Obviously, we're not doing it live this year, but you know what? The turnout is so big. We have like close to, I don't know, we have like 300 people so far. We had close to 500 registered. So really excited to be here and to actually get some interaction. We're going to talk about beauty. We're going to answer questions. I'm going to get you all involved. We have some polls. I want to hear from you guys. Let's see what else we got here. And, we're just going to talk about the present, the past, and the future of beauty because things are still happening in beauty, people. I'm happy to say that. But first and foremost, you all got the invite. You all got the webinar announcement. This is a happy hour. It's 5:30. Normally I've done breakfasts in the past before I go to work. I don't know about you. This was the end of an extremely busy week for me. I've been in the OR seeing patients since 7 a.m. So I'm very excited to have a cocktail. So I hope you all have something in hand. I know I post about my cooking and stuff. This is actually my wife's favorite bottle, Stag. I know you're listening, Di. Okay. I stole this from her stash. This is her Stag's Leap Artemis. I literally got my hand slapped this morning from taking this out of her stash. Normally I prefer other red wines, but I wanted to try this one for you guys tonight. So first and foremost, I want to hear from everybody what you are drinking. So I'm going to launch a poll. Let's see if this actually works. I want to hear from you. All right. Wow, look at that. A lot of wine going on. Oh, look at that. Oh, come on. I'll give it another Another 10 seconds. What else we got here? People are excited. You're eating chocolate. I like that. Malbec, green tea, lemon, and ginger. That's more of a Sunday night thing for me. It's Friday. Okay. I'm not working tomorrow. Okay. Let's end this poll and I'm going to share the results. Okay. Can you guys see that? It looks like wine is the winner. There's a bunch of non-alcoholic, a little bit of the hard stuff. And there are definitely some poor Uber Eats, unactivated, thirsty people who wish someone would deliver a cocktail to them. Well, cheers to you. Let's get started. Okay, we're going to talk about some beauty. So the first take home for this webinar is people still care about how they look. That's the good news. And you know, whether you're young, you're old, you're a man, you're a millennial, people are coming back in. It's gone up and down. Obviously, for me, some people have left New York. A lot of new patients have come on, but the overall theme is whether they're able to come in and not, people still care about the way they look because ultimately, and this is something I've always felt, people use visual cues to help determine how they feel. It's not, you can call it vanity. It's not narcissism. It's a form of self-care. There are certainly abuses of it. There are stereotypes of people who overdo it in terms of how much they care about how they look. But the fact of the matter is, we look in the mirror, we use it as a cue to how we feel about ourselves. Mind-body connection, it works in wellness. Why shouldn't it work in beauty? And this is something I've always spoken about to my patients. It's something I talk an enormous amount in my book, which came out, the Pro-Aging Playbook. And I think even though I've been preaching it, the quarantine was really the first time that I've ever proven this theory. Because let's face it, most of us have been hiding indoors. And if we are outdoors, we're wearing masks. So, you know, I think it's important to realize that none of you have to feel bad about caring about how you look. And it's an important part of who we are. But the real question is, and plus also everyone has a good and bad hair day, right? It's not about looking beautiful. It's about looking like the best version of yourself. And I think regardless of whether you think you're a vain person, we all kind of care a little bit, particularly when we're under a huge amount of stress. So the real thing that, you know, I've been speaking to a lot of beauty editors and insiders about, like, what are the most popular procedures? So I'm going to go over that quickly now because people are being bothered by different things. Right now, people are gaining some weight. They've been outdoors a lot. People are caring about fat removal procedures, sun damage. You know, patients, they're usually very fastidious about taking care of their skin. They've been living outdoors. The sun has a therapeutic effect, the light. I'm not one of these dermatologists that thinks sun is bad. I do believe it has a therapeutic psychological effect. We've needed it more than ever, particularly during the warm months. And obviously, now people are living in a little bit of regret. They're looking to do things to remove the sun damage. And, you know, I think people are having psychological issues with their sense of self. People do come in and they just feel like, I feel aged, I feel tired, I feel worn. And this has always gone on. I have patients who have gone through cancer. They have lost family members. They have other issues in their family, and they just come in and they just like, I don't look like myself. I don't feel like myself. And they're looking to do things to give them that little boost. And we're seeing this more than ever right now. So it doesn't make a difference what reason they're using to do something for themselves. The fact of the matter is they recognize that if they could do something that may visually improve their perspective, that will make them feel better. So I think that's important to recognize. I do want to take another poll because I want to hear from all of you. Let's see, we're going to stop sharing that poll. Okay. I want to hear from all of you. What's your biggest concern during COVID? Let's launch this poll. You know, did you gain the COVID 5 to 10? Are you bothered by your sun damage from living outside too much? You got the brown spots and the lack of luster in your skin. Maskne. I mean, people have had huge quality issues with their skin, and this maskne thing, it's a real thing. It's not some like publicity media thing we're talking to get patients in. Maskne is a real thing from wearing these masks. The whole, I just feel like I've aged, the psychological component. There are people who literally can't put their finger on what the problem is. And then there are those of you who are like, I've actually just gotten better looking in the new world. Let's see how many, there are a couple of you out there Those are the real narcissists. But it looks like there's a little bit of everything here, actually, and a lot of the weight loss stuff. I'll give that a few seconds. You know, for the COVID-5, we have all the non-invasive Cool Sculpt, Sculpture, Cutera's True Sculpt ID. Obviously, as most of you who know me in my practice, a third of my practice is body sculpting, tumescent laser liposuction, procedures of the neck, inner outer thighs, belly. I am the Fraxel King, sun damage, Fraxel. That's a big thing. But Maskne, you know, this is an interesting thing, guys. I started seeing patients again May 18th when the governor allowed routine doctor's visits. And surprisingly, overwhelming majority of people, their skin got better. And this is because, you know, I've always been a keep it simple, stupid type of person. I'm not big on using really complicated skin regimens, but people were not wearing makeup every day, washing their face multiple times a day, makeup removers. They're not putting serums and exfoliants. People were indoors. They kept it au naturel. And guess what? Their skin got better. Again, something that quarantine proved that I've always thought. The less you do, the better. If you have a skin problem, well, then you do things to treat it. If you have an aesthetic problem, then you do things to treat it. But keep it simple. Now, this was like a honeymoon period that most people had, because after a few months of wearing a mask, people actually started having some skin problems. And this is where Maskne came in. I'm not sure who made up that term, but it's a real thing. And it's a form of acne. I mean, listen, you're breathing into a mask. There's makeup on them, people having makeup stains on the mask. They're not cleaning it as much, and your skin was meant to breathe. We're using topical antibiotics for this. Actually, at PFRANKMD, I developed a laser protocol. One of my favorite devices called the Neo by Aerolase is like a laser facial. What I really like about it, it's great for inflammation, people with acne, but it also helps with brown spots, people that are left with marks. Has no downtime. It's great for all skin types. I do that treatment. My nurses do that treatment. It takes about 10 or 15 minutes. Then we do a cryotherapy facial, with also decreases inflammation and swelling. And then what we do is we put topical, it's a PFRANKMD product. It's a prescription topical antibiotic, clindamycin, in an emollient moisturizer base. So the skin is primed for absorbing the antibiotic, and we coat their face with it then. So that's the PFRANKMD Maskne protocol. And then we have them continue clindamycin topically. And for those people who can't get to someone like me for Maskne, if you're suffering from it, topical antibiotics is usually a pretty simple cure. I've had a few patients that have had to put on oral medicine, but it's pretty easy to take care of. Let's show what this poll has. All right. So it looks like actually the winner is I just feel like I've aged. And this is not surprising. A lot of people come in, they just literally, they don't know what they need. Excuse me, I gotta take a little wine break here. They don't know what they need. Actually, surprisingly, sun damage is the least of their concerns. You're all still living your best lives outside, trying to get some sun. I've been doing an enormous amount of Fraxels. So fortunately, not everybody agrees, but I would tell you, in all honesty, in terms of I'll go on to the next poll, and we'll show you. Now that we're in the new world, our routines are totally shattered. So we're not used to doing things the same way. Our social lives are different. Our pocketbooks may be different. Our schedules may be different. We're working from home. Kids may be home. Things are kind of screwed up. So for many reasons, whether it's time or access, not being able to go to the doctor, or financial, people are really kind of reprioritizing and thinking about like what they need most right now. Whereas in the pre-COVID world, people were doing a little bit of everything. They really have to think about it. So, for most people in May, everybody was coming in for their injectables, the quick fixes, right? People often say, oh, I don't think I need these injectables anymore. Go a few months past them wearing out and see how you feel about not living with those injectables. So a little bit goes a long way. People were then coming in, noticing skin-related issues towards the middle of the summer. Now I'm packed with body sculpting. I'm in the OR every day doing liposuctions, our cool sculptings, true sculpts, everything is going like rapid fire. So now people are realizing they're living in the COVID world. They know that it'll unlikely get as bad as it was in March and April, but it's not going away. Therefore, they have the downtime. They're not going to weddings that a lot of people aren't traveling. So we're now doing procedures that have a little bit more downtime. So for all of you out there, I know many of you are not virgins in doing things to yourself. I want to find out what were your kind of first concerns about, like the first things you did after quarantine. So let me see. I'm going to launch this poll. Here we go. So what were the first things? Did you run for the injections? Did you get laser right away? Were you like, you know what, doc? It's May. I'm fat already. I need to get some liposuction. Are you someone that's like running to the facialist? You know, it was really tough. I have a lot of friends of mine, Georgia Louise, Joanne Vargas, a lot of people, they really couldn't open for a very, very long time. Now that they are, I think they're busy. People, they want the manual touch, you know? So I think understandably, these are things that people yearn for. Just because people come to me for injections and lasers does not mean that they don't need the care of an esthetician to really follow them and help them with their skincare routine and manage things. So I want to hear from all of you. Let's see. Yeah, and this is kind of matching what I'm seeing. People are mostly running for their injectables first. And yes, injectables wins. I mean, listen, this is where the field of cosmetic dermatology started booming so much 20 years ago when I started. The quick fixes, right? This is why they're household names: Botox, Juvederm, Restylane, Versa, Dysport, Xiamen, and all these different products. So injectables win. Then non-medical facials and treatments, which I think is interesting. A few of you are all of the above, coming in for everything. I was actually shocked. You know, it was interesting. In May, when I started seeing patients, at least half of the patients that came in were people that already had antibodies, either had it, that were symptomatic, or didn't have, because they were comfortable to come in May. So surprisingly so, now most everybody's coming in. And a lot of people, I didn't mention this earlier, you know how many people came into my office who were like, you're like the first person I've seen, Dr. Frank, in months. Like, I don't socialize, I don't go out. That just shows the power of really wanting to do something for yourself. Quite flattering, and happy to help. Now, I'm going to finish up with trends and then get into the good stuff in a second. But in terms of long-term, people have also changed their perspective. You know, the biggest growth in the industry has been in procedures that are less invasive. There's always a little bit of no pain, no gain. So there are a lot of these technologies take multiple treatments. We're starting to not live in a world where it's feasible to go in once a week for, you know, 2 months. Our time is more limited. We all want to limit our exposure to other people, doctors' offices, traveling, public transportation. So I really think people are changing the way they think, how they want procedures in the future. You know, I find in my practice, people are looking for more the one-time procedure, bigger bang. They want more results, you know, not knowing what the economic future is going to be. People are wanting more aggressive procedures. I would tell you in the last 5 to 10 years, the overall trend has been towards less aggressive procedures. Everyone wants magic from something that has no downtime. They're willing to do it a bunch of times because they'll pop into the dermatologist or estheticians or local med spa, and they'll, as long as they get an end result that they want in the end, you know, everyone's so busy. You know, everyone's got something to do in the pre-COVID world. And guess what? We don't have that much to do anymore. So people's ideas are thinking, and they're trying to make judgments about what they're going to want for the future. Because although, you know, everyone's like, when are we going to go back to normal? We're not going to go back to the old normal. We will go closer to that, but life is going to be different. We're not all getting on elevators the same way. We're all not sitting in offices the same way. I don't care about whether there's a vaccine or not. We will live our lives a little bit differently. Some part of our life's vernacular to some degree. And I think some of the impact of COVID is to a small degree, just going to become part of our life's vernacular, how we separate from people, how we sit on planes, how we touch, how we wash our hands. I think we're going to be indelibly affected by what's going on, and it will affect every industry, whether you're a banker or an elevator repairman or a cosmetic dermatologist. So how we think about our future and our maintenance is very, very important. And there are some people that may want to give up on certain things. So I have found that in my practice, people want the bigger bang. They want the one-time treatments. People where we are slow is like the hair laser, where like once a month for 5 months. People are coming in for big fraxels, things that have downtime, liposuction versus non-invasive fat removal. heavy fraxels versus clear and brilliance, face tight, AccuTite liposuction procedures as opposed to all therapy or multiple axillus treatments. And there are some people too that are just focusing more on self-care. So let's find out what you guys have to say about that. What's your future of pro aging? Well, I like how that was written. So again, more at-home skincare, bigger bang aesthetic procedures. You want to focus on other forms of skincare, like you want to do yoga, right? Guys like me are not for you anymore. You're over that. You're more into self-care, meditation, yoga, eating right, growing old gracefully. Oh, I'm waiting for the I want more of everything, and we'll catch up when this is all over. That's the category I'm in. I don't think I can vote in my own poll. I'm not seeing many of the I am good and I'm going to let it all go. I don't think that would be a realistic outcome there. Let's see what we got. We're going to end that poll. We're going to share the results. Boom! Bigger bang aesthetic procedures. I like how you all think out there. I'm really not seeing that many people who are all good and going to let it go. So big bang aesthetic procedures, and a lot of when this is all over, I'm catching up to be the best version of myself. That's what I like to hear, people. And certainly there are some people more at home skincare. Okay, so that is it for the trends. Don't worry, guys. I'm going to get to the fun new toys and lasers and the things that are coming out. But I'm going to give you a quick rundown on what's happening at PFRANKMD. So, 1 year ago at my Hot Topics, I made the announcement that I was opening up another place in the lower west side of Manhattan, PFRANKMD downtown in the West Village. And this place, which was a huge endeavor, still is a huge endeavor, was supposed to open in summer of 2020. That didn't happen, okay? But it has not gone anywhere, because as of January 1 or 5 or early January, we're going to be taking appointments at PFRANKMD West Village. And this is not going to be your run-of-the-mill doctor's office. It's not going to look and feel like a doctor's office. It's also not going to be a highly commercialized med spa. It really was an amazing undertaking to create the most comprehensive and, for lack of a better word, cool as fuck aesthetic healthcare center in the country. And it really was an amazing project. I worked with renowned designers, Gasho Studios. We built a 4,000 square foot ground floor retail space on a cobblestone landmarks block right in the heart of the West Village. It's going to be something that I hope is never done before in the aesthetic field. It will be staffed with myself. I have to grow more hands so I can work both places. I'm currently working on cloning myself, but also my team of dermatologists, cosmetic PAs, registered nurses, medical assistants, and really my whole wonderful team, most of which are back. I'm trying to get them all full-time now in COVID world, and they'll be working, trying to help everybody become the best version of yourselves. So I'm so excited about this project. It has taken a long time, but I really think it's going to be something special and different. I hope those of you that are around can travel or come and visit me down there. We're going to be doing a huge expanded retail. We're going to be partnering with a lot of other beauty brands. There's going to be some surprises and some unique partnerships that we're going to be doing, and really bringing you the best of beauty. PFRANKMD Uptown, for those of you that are my patients, it's still going to be the boutique surgical center that I started 20 years ago. It will still be the place where I do my surgical stuff, and will continue to be that kind of boutique, kind of family business that my sister, who basically runs my life and the practice and director of operations, and myself started 20 years ago. Also a year ago, I was talking about writing my book. And oddly, it's about the only thing in my life that has showed up on time, because the Pro-Aging Playbook, Embracing a Lifestyle of Beauty and Wellness Inside and Out, actually came out on time in July. It has been amazing. I was really worried about talking about beauty and lifestyle stuff in the middle of a crisis, but I actually couldn't have found a better time to talk about the things I talked about. Look at me. See, there is me with hair and makeup, okay, the pro-aging playbook. And really, I actually myself go back and read it often conceptually, because there are a lot of metaphorical things about how you live your life, how you take care of yourself, and how the things that you do to be the best version of yourself. It's not just about beauty, it's also about living life, optimizing who you are, and really making the best of the blessing that we have to grow old. We all spend so much time complaining about the aging process, but the fact of the matter is, aging is a blessing. It is better than the alternative. So what I try and do is change your perspective, make you feel good about it, and help you find ways so that you can feel good about the ride. Join the journey and enjoy the ride. Okay, guys. Because of its big success, I've been talking about it and promoting it and podcasting about it. We will be launching the Pro Aging podcast in the new year. And we're going to continue the conversation. And it's going to be more than just about beauty. It's going to be about lifestyle. I'm going to bring in my network of friends, colleagues, physicians. It's going to have a whole list of people, from doctors to beauty executives, skincare gurus, lifestyle people, designers, musicians, everybody that is involved in making you feel and look your best, just so you can become the best version of you. So I didn't realize how many wonderful people I have in my life. I've been speaking with them on IG Live, and I'm going to speak about them on my podcast, the Pro Aging podcast. So, I hope you guys tune in. And I couldn't think of a better first guest than who I'm going to say. Someone I've become close with, a good friend, a patient. She is a world-renowned motivational speaker. She is an author. She is a life coach, Gabrielle Bernstein. I'm so excited. She is going to be the first guest on my podcast. I couldn't think of anyone better, because it always starts from within. The things I do, my expertise, I'm just a piece of the puzzle. I'm an icing on the cake. But really, to finding the best version of you, it starts from within. And I really couldn't think of anyone better than Gabby Bernstein to help me out with that. She is my guru. She is your guru. And I'm really excited to get her on the mic, so to speak. So let's talk about the new toys and the new tricks. We're finally on, you got to leave the good stuff for the end, right? We're going to talk about the new technologies and the new tricks out there, okay? So one of the things that's been a big problem in life these days is that none of us can get to the gym. We're all working out less, eating more, probably drinking more. Actually, a friend of mine who is an alcohol executive has seen like 65% increase in alcohol industry business. There's never been such a rise in alcohol consumption since prohibition was reversed. So people are drinking, people are eating, they're out of the gym. Again, they're out of their routine personal care regimens, and so much of a better time to talk about muscle development, fat removal, and things of that nature. We've all gotten a little softer. Now, I think most of you by this point have heard of the word 𝑚�Ｓculpt, right? A couple of years ago came out, I think it's been like 2 years now. The first technology that used electromagnetic field energy to hyperstimulate muscle contraction to actually give you muscle development, okay? It wasn't for weight loss. It wasn't going to turn someone flabby into a six-pack, but for those patients who were in good shape, but kind of like hit their wall, wanted greater definition, 𝑚�Ｓculpt changed the world. It was the Botox, what Botox did when I first started out to wrinkles and muscle movement, 𝑚�Ｓculpt did for body shaping and muscle definition. And it was a game changer. I have 2 machines. I'll be going on 3 soon. I do it after liposuction. I do it on fitness people. I do it on instructors, people who hit a wall after injuries, people who have been exercising for years, have great bodies, just want better. We all, for those of you out there that are not 51 like me, no matter how much you exercise, no matter how much you work out, there are limits. You get those little bulges of fat. You can't get the same ripped abs that you may have had when you were younger. And this is where I come in. And this is where the 𝑚�Ｓculpt has really changed the game. There have been copycats. There are other machines out there, but 𝑚�Ｓculpt has really been the first to market, the most research. And now they've come out with their 2.0 game changer technology called the 𝑚�Ｓculpt Neo. The 𝑀Sculpt Neo uses radio frequency technology in addition to the electromagnetic energy. We've been using radio frequency in fat reduction and skin tightening for, I don't know, almost a decade. They've now put it in one box in the attempts to make the holy grail of non-invasive body sculpting. Muscle definition, fat removal, and skin tightening. This thing just came out, hot off the presses, one treatment a week for 4 weeks. You could use it on the same areas of the body that you use the old 𝑀Sculpt, buttocks, abdomen. Hopefully there'll be new hand pieces like there were for the original 𝑀Sculpt, arms, inner, outer thighs. You could utilize the radio frequency energy to melt fat as needed. And although I don't have a lot of experience with the technology yet, I really think that this is going to be one of the game changers, guys. I've been working with BTL Aesthetics, the company that makes it, for many years now. They are really on the cutting edge of non-invasive body sculpting, and I'm super excited to really utilize the device and see how we do with it. Another technology that comes from BTL Aesthetics that uses this electromagnetic technology is something called 𝑚Cella. Now, this is a perfect example of where functional medicine meets aesthetic medicine. Well, now we're finding this in the muscle development market, because 𝑚Cella is a technology that's actually been around for a little bit. It was actually used in urology and OB/GYN for urinary incontinence. Women, after having a few babies, like if they jump rope or they pee or they exercise, they pee a little bit. Men obviously have this problem, but what they found is that as you use this technology, what you're doing is you're stimulating pelvic contraction and developing the pelvic floor. You've all heard of Kegel exercises. What you're doing is you're creating like 20,000 Kegel maneuvers in a half-hour period. You do this treatment, and what we found is, particularly when used in conjunction with other things like abdomen treatment and buttock treatment, you're creating an enormous amount of core strength development, postural improvement, and yes, folks, sexual health improvement for both men and women. So a perfect example of where functional medicine and aesthetic medicine meet. The 𝑚Cella has been an amazing addition to the 𝑀Sculpt platform. I have a lot of women and men that are doing it, and it's not something you can see, it's something that you can feel. It affects the functioning of your life. Call it cosmetic, call it aesthetic, call it functional, but the fact of the matter is, this is the technology that helps us be better versions of ourselves, and it's very exciting. In terms of the injectable market, okay, actually, I'm gonna have to pour myself a little bit more wine here. In terms of the injectable market, there are some new things out there. There is a new injectable player in the space. They are Revance Aesthetics, and they have 2 new products out. The first one, which is out already, is a new hyaluronic acid filler, Teoxane, what's called the RH series. There are 3 different fillers that they came out with: RH2, RHA2, RHA3, RHA4. They have different viscosities. They are the first FDA-approved hyaluronic acid product that are specifically developed for dynamic lines, areas of motion. Think Botox is for areas of motion. Well, this is for areas of motion too. I have used them. They're being sold as a premium. That means more expensive. As a premium product, kind of like a couture filler. I've used them. It's a great product. I love it. My concern is, in a market that's very flush with products, how is it going to compare, particularly if it's more expensive to physicians, which means it's more expensive to doctors? Have I found it to be overwhelmingly better than the other hyaluronic acids out there? Not so much. Do I like it? I like it. Ultimately, I think the result of any hyaluronic acid filler has to do with the injector, not the product. Although I do have certain, like, I'm not going to use Juvederm under the eye. I'm not going to use Radius in the nasolabial folds. Ultimately, you have to choose the right filler for the right area. There are some rules that I follow that I've developed for myself, but most of the time, it's how you use the filler, who's doing it, that makes the end result, not the name brand, people. You're not buying Botox, you're not buying Restylane or Teoxane, you're buying the person who injects it. Remember that. So make sure you go to people that are experienced and are used to having a full tool chest of options, because if you only have a hammer, everything looks like a nail, okay? So that's that. Their second product is the most interesting to come, and that is a new neuromodulator. There are 4 on the market: name brand Botox, Xeomin, Dysport, Juvo. They're all great products. I use them all. Okay. This newer product, daxibotulinum toxin type A. The market is very excited to hear this because this is the first product that supposedly, allegedly, theoretically lasts longer. There is a protein, a peptide that is unique and is attached to the botulinum toxin type A drug that makes it last longer. How much longer? We don't know yet. We know it lasts longer in studies, but we have to find out clinically. We also know that it's probably going to be more expensive. We also know that if things look good, it may last longer, but if things don't look good, it may last longer too. So A, do we want a longer lasting product if it costs more? B, how much longer does it really last? And what are its kind of biodynamics? What are they going to be? We don't know. The product isn't out yet. I have not tried it. I'm enthusiastic about it. Do I believe it's going to replace all the other neuromodulators that I use? Absolutely not. Do I think it will add something to the tool chest and to the palette of options for people? Absolutely. I'm excited to see it. Revance Therapeutics, Teoxane RHA series, and the daxibotulinum toxin. I think that'll be positive. Other injectable, QWO, QWE, the first FDA-approved injectable for cellulite. Yes, not for fat removal. It ain't no Kybella. If you watch me on Instagram, you know how I feel about Kybella. Not a fan. But this is an injectable for cellulite. Now, cellulite is caused by many, many things. Irregular fat deposition, loss of elasticity in the skin, and also fibrous collagenous bands that are attached from the skin to the muscle that create that kind of dimpling effect. And that's where QWO is going to come in. The drug itself is called collagenase, okay? So you inject collagenase into that fibrous collagen band and it breaks it up. So it could kind of like unpop that dimple. Again, there are a lot of different treatments for it. A lot of you have watched my biostimulatory injections that I helped develop for cellulite, also BTL, the 𝑚Tone device, which uses radio frequency and shockwave therapy, also a great thing. QWO will not be a replacement for other things. I think it'll be a great addition. I'm going to be meeting with the advisory board of the company, Endo Pharmaceuticals, to see how they're going to market it and distribute it. It's not out yet. We will probably see that in spring of 2021. I think it's going to be an exciting product because those dimples are very difficult. I've actually used surgical type maneuvers, subcision and things like that before to accomplish that type of treatment. So I'm excited for QWO. All right, the last of the hot topics, guys. You are almost done with me. I hope you are all slightly tipsy already, and that I'm not boring you. The latest advancements that I have found is in a kind of an archaic, simple technology, and that is microneedling. When microneedling started being done in dermatology, I was kind of admit I was a little poo-poo-ish, so to speak. Microneedling has been done for generations, decades, where we take needles and they poke in the skin to various depths and supposedly stimulate collagen. Well, microneedling, friends, has come a long way, and I'm happy to be part of those advancements. Several years ago, we started using microneedling to put medications in, PRP. We use something called AquaGold, where we put dilute amounts of Botox and hyaluronic neuromodulators and hyaluronic acid fillers, and we microneedle it to superficial skin. This all started in Asia, shrinking the pores, what's called skin boosting. You're not injecting the products deep, you're microneedling the drugs into the skin to give a kind of boosted, hydrated sheen to the skin, where the neuromodulators like the Botox shrink the pores. So that's AquaGold, that's been around for a long time. And then also there were several devices out there where we use what's called energy delivered microneedling. You know this, products like 𝑭𝑰𝑗𝑚𝑉, Morpheus, things of that. There are a lot of different products out there where they inject, these microneedles inject radio frequency to tighten skin. You can control the amount of energy, you can control the depth of the microneedling, the way the energy is distributed, and it really kind of changed the game. What's great about this technology is it's great for acne scars, it's great for texture, it's great for superficial tightening, not really so much deep tightening yet. And what's also great about it, it's great for all skin types. So for many patients that maybe were not candidates for laser resurfacing, microneedling is gentle. Doesn't mean it's without risk. You could still have similar problems, but it's certainly a lot more user-friendly for various skin types. Now, it continues to advance even more. Cartessa Aesthetics, which is a company I've also worked with many times before. They recently came out. I originally worked with them on 𝑭𝑰𝑗, which is one of the more popular energy delivered microneedling devices. They actually just came out with �ΒIRTUE, which is a microneedling platform. So you have different hand pieces. It's just really a more advanced device that has so much more versatility in options and what can be performed. That's �ΒIRTUE by Cartessa Aesthetics. Cutera Aesthetics. Many of you know my Cutera devices, XLV for vascular lesions, the Pico lasers. I use the TrueSculpt ID from Cutera lasers for fat removal. They've come out with a very unique device called FRAXIS. This is energy delivered microneedling with CO2 laser resurfacing. Now, this is something myself and other physicians that are lucky enough and can afford to have 20, 30 devices in their office, where it's a combined thing. I will very often do laser resurfacing and microneedling at the same time, particularly for acne scar patients with moderate to severe acne scars, where they really need both laser and deep energy delivered microneedling. Well, Cutera came out with their device that actually does it all in one treatment. So for a lot of physicians out there who don't have so many different devices, they can get that machine, that device that does everything in one sitting. But also for me in my practice, because I do have so many variations of machines and technologies, I've been finding I'm using microneedling more during my surgeries. My surgical microneedling device that I have is Morpheus 8. They've recently come out with more advanced hand pieces for body that go, the old needles go down to like 2, 3, 4 millimeters. Now we're going down to 7 millimeters. And I'm using these technologies much more aggressively. We're talking like during liposuction, when I do my face tight, AccuTite treatments to tighten up, I'm using, and I can use it more aggressively because the patients are fully anesthetized with local anesthesia. Most of the energy-based microneedling done in the past was done under topical anesthesia. Sure, you can get good treatments, but for really aggressive surgical type results, you have to really locally anesthetize and or sedate the patients. And I'm doing this now. And I'm really seeing great results, significant tightening. A lot of people I'm doing liposuction on, they have crepey skin on the abdomen, crepey skin on the lower neck, the V-neck, the décolletage. I do arm liposuction and I'm doing the inner surface here. This is such a commonly complained about area. You can't really liposuction this area because of the neurovascular tissue that's there. But doing the microneedling has really been an amazing game changer. So sometimes we don't always need new game changers. We need advancements of things that have been around a long time. And this is one of the things I tell people. Maximize the things that have been around. New is great, but it ain't always better. So if we could advance the way we do things that have been around, a long time, it really makes for a great treatment, a safe treatment, and a great result. So versatility is the key. And I think that's it. Wow. That was a lot, guys. Are there like 3 people on? Someone say something. Are people still around? There's still like 21 new messages here. Okay. There are still some people here. I like that. Can't wait for the West Village. Okay, let me hear what you have to say. You love the info? That's good. All right, guys. Anyway, I do want to take some questions. I'm going to do a quick rapid fire. I'm not going to keep you that long. I'm going to try and keep this. We're almost at an hour. Then I'm going to cut it out. So you want to give me some quick questions?
Let's do it. What can I do for my sagging jowls?
What can I do for my sagging jowls? If it's really bad, you need a facelift. You don't want to do things that are totally non-invasive, which are expensive and wasting your time. But what's great is we do have gap procedures like face-tight, AccuTite that are performed under local anesthesia that can give you a big result with little downtime if you're not ready for the big lift. Next.
Does Titan laser work for tightening jowls?
Titan laser. Titan's not a laser. It's a radio frequency device. It falls into the category of non-invasive like all therapy, thermage, things of that nature. These are good only for mild laxity. We're doing these on people in their 20s, 30s, and good 40s. Next.
Neck wrinkles from too much iPhone time. How How can we help / fix this? I want to invest.
You want to invest in fixing the lines from going like this. Horizontal, I think I have a couple of these actually, shit. Okay, filler, very fine line filler, either Bellatero or actually liquid injectable silicone for permanent results into the horizontal lines. Works great, better than any laser, better than any device, lasts a long time. Next.
How to get rid of a double chin. For what treatment can you get rid of a
double chin? Just as long as it's not Kybella. If it's very, very tiny, you could try all therapy or the non-invasive things like Cool Sculpting or True Sculpt ID. But if you really want it to be predictable, have it work, safe, quick, one treatment, face tight, AccuTite, like a little like micro liposuction. I wish I could teach somebody else to do it on me because it's so annoying. I'm so good at doing it because I want to do it to myself. Next.
What can be done about lines around the lips and thin upper lip besides injections?
What can be done for lip lines and thin lips other than lip injections? Then you got to do CO2 laser resurfacing. Don't waste your time with the Clear and Brilliance and the regular Fraxels. The only thing that works for lip lines and things that bleed in there is CO2 laser resurfacing. It's safe, it's quick. It's a week of downtime. You all have it. If you don't like these lines or the cross hatching or the crepey skin around there, fractional CO2 laser resurfacing is the gold standard. It was 15 years ago. It still is today. Next.
Best laser for mature skin.
Best laser for mature skin. What does mature mean? Again, fractional CO2 lasers, that's the best. If you're over 65, 70, you have crepiness, you can really get a skin tightening effect from fractional lasers. Do not be afraid of the more aggressive things, people. There's huge safety profiles in the things that are going on now. We live in COVID times. You want to bang for your buck. What I most want to do for my patients is not waste their time. If they're going to do something, I want them to do something that's going to make a big difference. And I'm always going to be honest about what's going to work and what's not. Next.
Fillers under the eyes. Is it safe?
Fillers under the eyes, contrary to what people think, it is the least painful and one of the safest areas to inject on the face. Everyone's worried about things like blindness, pain, things. Guess what? The nasolabial folds and the nose, which are like the hottest thing right now, which I hate, are the most dangerous areas to inject on the face, people. Major complications, blindness, vascular occlusion, they're very rare, but in anywhere on the face. But under the eye, very safe. What's the biggest risk of under eye fillers is poor aesthetic outcome. I'm fixing other people's shitty eye jobs all the time. Make sure you go to someone who does it multiple times a day. Ask them, how many times a day do you do this, doctor, nurse, PA, nurse practitioner? How many times do you do this today? If they hesitate, go somewhere else. It's an advanced cosmetic procedure. When it's done right, it's wonderful. When it's done bad, looks like shit. Next.
Can you apply another vial of Radius to more define a jawline if you already have one?
Yes, I love Radius. Radius is great. One of my favorite fillers. Not a big fan of sculpture in the face, love it in the booty and the body, but I love Radius in the face as a true filler and as a biostimulatory filler. But you can't put it in the midline, not for eyes, not for nasolabial folds. Great for cheeks, temples, jawlines. Better to start with a little definition and enhance it. Next.
Does Botox really help with teeth grinding?
Yes,
Wow.
Botox works for teeth grinding. TMJ, teeth grinding, get rid of those bite plates, thin out your face. No, it won't make you saggy. People ask about that, but it can help thin out your face down here. Instead of stop adding more cheek. Slim out here. It'll make your cheeks look more prominent. Next.
What is the most effective way outside of injectables to get rid of crow's feet? I swear, Botox has stopped doing the job around my eyes.
Switch products. Try Jeuveau. Try Xeomin. Try the new Daxi botulinum toxin. Botox, neuromodulator. Forget the name brand Botox, okay? First of all, let me say, there was a Botox day the other day, okay? I see all these doctors like, oh, it's Botox day. It's Botox day. Botox is a name brand, people. It annoys me when doctors advertise for drug companies. You don't see these advertisements for chemotherapy for cancer with their trade names. It's a neuromodulator. There are several neuromodulators on the market. Botox was the first one. It's not the best. It's a great product. Depends on the person who's getting it done, and most importantly, who's doing it. Don't be fooled by a company that decides they want to make up their own day. But you got to find a neuromodulator that's right for you. There's not one that works best. That's why you got to go to a doctor that uses all of them. We're going to have 5 in the next few months, people. You can do CO2 laser resurfacing around the eyes otherwise. Next.
I have blood vessels on my nose lasered, and now I have a black spot. Is this normal?
You shouldn't have a black spot after lasering. May have been the wrong laser or the wrong person. Someone's asking me thoughts about liquid rhino. Love talking about this. Do I get asked for liquid rhinoplasties? All day long. Do I do it? On a single-digit percentage of people. You want your nose done? Go get your nose done, people. You're not going to go every 6 months. It don't last 2 years to filler, despite what they say on the internet. You're injecting filler into the nose. This is the most high-risk area on the human face. You go to Asia, where they do it a lot, you see cases of blindness. It could be very traumatic, and I do believe, yes, any ENT facial plastic surgeon who does a lot of nose jobs, injecting filler into the cartilage of the nose already, it breaks it down and makes you age worse. You want to try it? Try it once or twice to make you feel comfortable with what your nose may look like if you had surgery. Great, but then go do it. You're not going to get injections in your nose for the next 50 years to change it. ENT facial plastic surgeons are amazing. Go get your nose fixed. I had a little tweak myself. Okay, next.
What about those really scary peels that people get? This is from the Jessica Matlin.
From the Jessica Matlin?
Yeah.
Is she watching the Jessica Matlin? Oh, God, it's so important. Chemical peels we're talking about? Listen, chemical peels are fine. The light chemical peels that estheticians do or some dermatologists do are fine. I'm a laser guy. I invest in technology. I don't want things that are jack of all shades. I want things that specifically affect what we're targeting, and I combine several things to acquire that. Chemical peels burn everything in their path, so they can be unpredictable. They can be more damage relative. They can be more downtime relative to the positive effect. Whereas lasers, because they target things, you get more of a positive with less of a downtime. But there are people that disagree with me. Simple lasers are fine. Next, we're almost done.
What can I do for hyperpigmentation for skin of color?
Hyperpigmentation, skin of color. You have to make sure you do. Lasers are safe on skin of color. You have to find the right ones. Again, find the right provider. Non-ablative lasers like picogenesis, laser genesis, Aerolase Neo. Remember I talked about that with the Maskne. There are things you can use. With skin of color, though, you have to be very cautious with ablative resurfacing. Can't do that. You got to be cautious with fractional devices. I can use some fractional devices on them, but you cannot go too aggressive. It really needs someone who's used to working with skin of color, and it's a crawl. There's no one shot done and one treatment and finished. Let me see if I see it. Can you do anything with tone arms that have bat wings? Yes. Just suck it out. It's a 1-hour procedure, 24-hour recovery. Not a big deal. The non-invasive stuff doesn't work great for that. Let's see.
Your thoughts on LED therapy? Are there any risks?
LED therapy, low risk, low success. You know, there's science behind LED masks and therapy. Don't pay to go to a dermatologist for LED therapy. I mean, sometimes I'll put some of my patients on the LED lights after a Fraxel. I've created some inflammation. I want to decrease it. But like, don't go spending a lot of money and time on it. It's like, you know, it's like the chicken soup of cosmetic surgery. It's certainly helpful, but I wouldn't invest too much money in it.
How can I treat deep acne scarring?
Deep acne scarring, acne scars, all scars require a combination of treatments. Injectables for the potholes. I love liquid silicone for this. It's permanent, it's safe, it's amazing. That's a whole nother webinar on liquid silicone, medical grade liquid silicone. Fraxel resurfacing, either non-ablative or CO2. Microneedling, amazing treatment. Subcision. It's very rare I only do one type of treatment for acne scars or any type of scars. V-beam vascular lasers for redness of scars. Pico lasers for pigmented scars. Again, Aerolase, picogenesis. Go to someone who has a full palette of options. There is no one treatment for scars, people. Don't accept one answer. It's creating a piece of art. It's putting different colors on a palette together to give you a treatment plan and a result that's going to give you the best result. I think we kind of covered.
How about we do one more question?
One more question.
And then everyone has to go to our Instagram and they can ask questions on the question
yes,
box.
You can ask questions on the question box. Okay, I don't want to bore all of you. We're coming on 1 hour. I do have one more poll, and then we'll let you go. Whew, rapid fire. Okay.
Any way to get rid of ice pick scars?
We talked about that. That's it. That's the best she has for me.
Well,
my genius IT social media manager who gave me a high def camera, which makes me feel like I need full-time hair and makeup. I think that's it. But what I want to do for you guys, this has been fun. I've had about a glass and a half of wine, and it's Friday. I'm going to have a little bit more at dinner later. I want to ask one more poll, people, okay? For all 5 of you that may be left, okay? Poll 5, okay? I want to know, how was this Hot Topics webinar? Was it valuable and entertaining, Dr. Frank? Keep it up. Could always be better. I'm going to DM some suggestions. I don't want hate DMs. I have enough hate DMs. Really? I'm a nice guy. You don't have to send me you don't have to listen. You don't have to always tune in, people. I'm not for everybody. But you'll DM some suggestions. Dr. Frank sucks and he likes to hear himself talk. That is partially true. And then finally, all of the above. So let me hear you, people. Okay, what do you got? Oh, look at that. I'm getting some positive responses. The hate mail will probably come on the Instagram. Okay, 1 hour. Let's see. I know, I wish it was in person too, guys. You're welcome. I'm getting such great responses here. The cookbook. Yes, I want to make a cookbook. I have some friends and patients who are very famous chefs. Many of you have seen them on my Instagram. I would love to coordinate a cookbook with one of them. Okay, I like it. I like the way you think. All right, guys, let's see. Let's see what you said. Okay, end poll, share results. Well, it looks like people have generally positive responses here. So clearly you are all slightly intoxicated. It is Friday night happy hour. Really, guys, I want to thank you all so much supporting me over the years, particularly since this COVID thing when I was sick. You showed up at my last webinar. You're showing up now. My audience is growing. I'm super blessed in so many ways. My family, the people that work for me, my IT people, my publicity team, TLC, and really all the people that help me make the best version of self, because it ain't easy. I'm working hard. I'm working for myself, and I'm working for all of you. So thank you for having faith. Thank you for joining. And don't worry, you're going to see me probably later tonight on Instagram. So I will see you all soon. All right. How do I shut this down? Ciao. Peace out. And cheers, everybody.